is Australia Overnight with Tony McManus.
28 minutes away from the hour. It's half an hour earlier.
It was just before sunrise in Melbourne's northern suburbs. 64-year-old fruiterer John Latorre was on his way to his job at the Melbourne wholesaler market. Before he reached his car, he was shot dead with a single bullet to the head.
Now, earlier in our news today, we heard that there had been a gangland-style hit on a man in Greenvale overnight.
They were clearly waiting for him. They clearly knew his schedule.
By sunrise, detectives were arriving on the scene, and news quickly spread that John Latorre may have been more than just a humble fruiterer.
I believe, yes, he was a man known to Victoria Police, and as I said, those inquiries will be made in relation to what is known, and that will form part of our investigation.
At this stage, police have not revealed what they suspect may be a motive, but in the world of organised crime, Anna Sergi says there could be a few reasons as to why a target was on John Latorre's back.
So the Ndrangheta kills for three reasons, mostly. One is preventative, usually preventative, to avoid things from getting out. One is revenge, so punitive if you did something, and obviously if you are an internal and you did something. And the third one is demonstrative, so it's a performance. So you need to kill someone in order to show someone else your power.
Latorre's funeral was held over the weekend. His standing in the community was on show, with mourners spilling out onto the streets.
You would expect that if anybody's been involved in this particular hit, this Ndrangheta hit, that they may well be there, and that's a good line of inquiry if you've got the smarts in the police department.
The Calabrian Mafia is known as the Ndrangheta, or the Honoured Society, and has had a long and violent history in Australia, particularly in Melbourne, dating as far back as 1922.
The legend says three members of the Ndrangheta arrives in the King of Italy ship and settled in Melbourne, Adelaide, Canberra, and started their business.
The Ndrangheta has since then, since the post-World War II period, become the most dominant, most violent and aggressive mafia on the planet.
By the 60s, the Ndrangheta had infiltrated the Melbourne fruit and vegetable wholesale market.
Vincent Morituri migrated to Australia from Italy when he was 12.
In 1964, Vincent Morituri was killed in spectacular fashion as he left for work.
Neighbours I've spoken to today tell me that they heard two shots at about 2:30 in the morning.
28 years later, his son Alfonso Morituri, also a wholesale fruiterer, was gunned down outside his home. Neither murder has ever been solved.
They try to insert protection rackets to create predictability in a very uncertain system, which is the market, very informal system of interaction. This leads to murders, and this leads to a very important gangland murders that we had in the 60s when the Ndrangheta power structure was changing in Melbourne.
Code of silence, shut your mouth. If you open your mouth, if you assist police, or if you start telling tales or doing the wrong thing against the family, then what will happen is a very, very vicious death.
Former detective Colin McLaren spent 3 years trying to infiltrate the Ndrangheta in the early 90s, where he spent time at the wholesale fruit and vegetable markets. He now lives in New York.
A lot of that is a cash economy. A lot of that is where large shipments are taken through the night to these big wholesale fruit and vegetable markets, and deals are done with fistfuls of cash, and that's always been the way. And that's not to say that it's all bad, not at all, but it attracts people like the mafia who are really into cash.
And throughout the years, some connected to the wholesale market have been suspected by police of using their criminal connections to import huge amounts of drugs as part of the Ndrangheta criminal enterprise.
The Ndrangheta worldwide is a criminal organization that has become incredibly useful in the logistics of the drug trade and in the investment to finance the drug trade. has brought to the situation where in Australia, surely there have been interest in the past 20, 30 years, so it's nothing new, in expanding the business of cocaine.
In 2008, the Australian Federal Police alleged Ndrangheta was behind a shipment of about $500 million worth of the drug ecstasy.
There's so many in Ndrangheta mafia that you take out 21 or 22 different mafia players in that particular ecstasy operation, which was a stunning and a very clever piece of law enforcement. But it doesn't, I guess, take out more than a few percent when you look at the full number of mafia in Australia.
In 2021, the Federal Police announced it believed the Ndrangheta controlled a large portion of Australia's cocaine market after undercover officers tricked criminals into sharing Ndrangheta secrets in a fake encrypted messaging app.
We have been in the back pockets of organised crime and operationalised a criminal takedown like we have never seen.
Although police have made ongoing attempts to weaken Ndrangheta, law enforcement's biggest obstacle remains the watertight code of silence known as omerta. In fact, Ndrangheta, by definition, is a secret society, so members deny its very existence.
It should be a constant battle against this scourge because they are massive and they're worldwide.
Police are appealing for anyone with information regarding John Latorre's murder to come forward, while friends and family mourn someone they say was a man of honour, respect and generosity.